Hello, and welcome to the DC Overlord channel. I am the DC Overlord, and I'm bringing to you guys some brand new DC news. So this is official news from James Gunn and DC themselves. So this is confirmed news that is actually happening. This is the official cast for the Creature Commandos show. And I have some ideas of where this might go. Although I'm not sure if I'm actually right. It kind of depends on the direction that this show actually goes. So just keep in mind that there's a lot of rumors going around about DC content. Not all of it is confirmed. There's a lot of false information that is being spread like wildfire on Twitter. I'm doing my best to take the responsibility of being the number one place where you can find official DC news and know what is true and what is not confirmed or false. So there's a lot of misinformation going around. There's a lot of information that is not confirmed at all, that has no verifiable sources. But this is not one of them. This is actually confirmed by James Gunn himself. So this is the Creature Commandos official DCU cast. This is the first show that is going to be in the actual DCU. This is the first one to set it all up. This is the cast that we're working with. So, first of all, we have Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller, of course. And there are some theories as to why she's involved in this show. And it comes down to a particular character that is included, but we'll talk about in a moment. The next one is Sean Gunn is going to be G.I. Robot. Basically, G.I. Robot, not too well known. He's literally exactly what it says. He's an army robot. That's basically what you have to know. He's involved in kind of the Dino War and everything. And by the way, Creature Commandos tends to involve dinosaurs. It's basically going to be on an island with dinosaurs. That's the general idea of it anyways. Who knows if that's going to be the actual direction we end up going into. But basically, Creature Commandos, dinosaurs. Don't ask why. Don't ask how. That's just what it is. Then we have David Harbour becoming Frankenstein. Of course, technically Frankenstein's monster, but in this case he's actually named Frankenstein. But it's Eric Frankenstein. And so it's a character that is based off of Frankenstein. Very obvious. And so he's going to be that. And it's very exciting to have David Harbour joining the DCU cast. Especially as a character who is gonna probably stick around for a little bit. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up dying in the show. I don't know. I wouldn't get attached to anybody. Then we have Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. Frank Grillo, Punisher, well, Crossbones, technically speaking. People know him. He's been in Marvel. He's been around places, but he's going to be taking the role as Rick Flag Jr.'s father, so father-son. So you might have recognized Rick Flag's name from being in the Suicide Squad, James Gunn version, and this guy, Senior, is the son of Rick Flag Jr. Sorry. This guy is the father of Rick Flag Jr. Senior comes before Junior. This is the father of the guy in the Suicide Squad. That's basically what you need to know. He's a military guy, generally speaking, and so he's perfect. He's probably gonna have a very prominent role in this show. Then we have Alan Tudyk, who's going to be Dr. Phosphorus. You might actually recognize Dr. Phosphorus from Batman Beyond, although he wasn't really called Dr. Phosphorus. He was called Blight in Batman Beyond, but it's basically his character. That character is him. He's basically kind of a villain, I don't know if he's necessarily a villain. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell who's on what side now, but I I guess he's on the Creature Commando side. And then we have Maria Bakalova as Ilana Rostovic, which might mean that we're heading in a little bit of an interesting direction. See, the characters that are being set up, some of them are directly involved in Checkmate in the comics. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is where we're going to go, so don't take this as fact or news, but this is purely speculation from me, is that I'm kind of thinking that perhaps James Gunn might be setting up Checkmate. I don't know for sure, because there's a couple of different directions he could go in. There's obviously, sort of like the Justice League New Frontier direction, which is, a little bit different. Some people have rumored that. That's a rumor, not happening. Rumor. But the possibility of Checkmate is becoming more real, knowing that Amanda Waller is going to be playing a huge role in this. We're going to have Alana Rostovic, or the Vostok. And then we're also going to perhaps later down the line have Mr. Terrific, although again, that's not confirmed. That is just purely speculation. It's just that a lot of these characters are involved with Checkmate, and Task Force X would kind of be Gunn's kind of MO at this point. Like, it's kind of like another version of the Suicide Squad, although it's a little bit more complicated than that. And it does involve a particular storyline with a crisis and everything, and it especially involves a character known as Maxwell Lord, who used to be the leader of Checkmate. So he used to be like the guy who made this all happen, basically. And the thing is, each of the members are supposed to represent chess pieces. Like, so queen, you have the black queen, you have the white queen, you have the black pawn, you have the white pawn, that kind of thing. They're each supposed to represent pieces in chess. But that kind of does make things a little bit more complicated. So we're not going to get too much into that. We can talk about it maybe later. But if that even ends up happening, I don't even know. This might just be just purely coincidence. Although, I just kind of don't believe in coincidences. But it would be kind of interesting to see if Checkmate is happening, how it's going to be used in the greater story. Because that could mean some interesting things. Anyways, the next person is Indira Varma as the Bride of Frankenstein. So the wife of David Harbour. Sassy. You see her character. You see her character. She is a visual character. Like, she is exactly what she looks like. For the most part, anyways. Then you have Zoe Chow as Nina Mazurski of the Fish. Not exactly a fish, but she looks like a fish. But yeah, still kind of interesting though. Kind of interesting. And then we have Steve Agee coming back as John Economist. So this guy. The guy is he's kind of just a fun character. He's like a conspiracy theory hangout guy, that kind of thing. And honestly, this cast seems really good. I'm very excited to see Creature Commandos, see where that goes. And again, there might be some bigger plans at stake. I definitely think there's a reason why we're seeing Creature Commandos. It's not just out of nowhere. Some people think it's out of nowhere. But I think what is going to be end up setting up, this is all speculation, is that it's going to be setting up basically Dino Island. It's not called that, but it's a dinosaur island. It's an island with dinosaurs. And it does kind of suggest, especially since Waller is technically after, that perhaps we are going to be seeing the making of Checkmate. I think it would be weird if we ended up going the Suicide Squad direction again, since we just did 2 movies on the Suicide Squad. Although, it would be different. I think we're not going to do that. So the next best thing would actually be Checkmate, if he wants to do like a task force type team. It could be a possible potential and a real possibility, maybe not necessarily in chapter 1, but at least setting up the breadcrumbs for it later. Honestly, that's all speculation, but this is the official news. That was the cast of the Creature Commandos. I'm sure there's going to be more extra stuff, but in terms of Creature Commandos, these are the characters that we're working with. So all of this is going to be setting up probably for Superman Legacy and everything. It's actually probably going to be more so setting up the overall story. So yes, Creature Commandos is going to be important to watch because it's going to set up some just information that you're going to need to know later on, probably. And these characters are probably going to be reoccurring throughout the DCU. I would expect at least some of them to make it out alive to show up in other projects. So you could definitely expect them to be in other things. Of course, we don't necessarily know if that's going to be the direction that we end up going, but there are signs that kind of point to it. But anyways, this was the cast of Creature Commandos. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to give you guys more official DC news from only verified sources. No CBR, no Grace Randolph, no rumors, no speculation. The cold, hard facts. Because there's some information that is being spread around that is not confirmed at all. And people are taking it as fact. And if that information ends up being false, it's kind of unfair to hold that against James Gunn, because people are just making things up and lying to people. It's like, you can hate him, you can not like him, but if you're just gonna make things up and then call him out on it for things that were never going to be true, it's a little bit weird. I don't know why people do that. I mean, I do know why. It helps them get views and everything, but I like to err on the side of honesty for the most part. That's why I'm setting up this whole thing, because I'm kind of tired of the false news, false narratives, and everything. But check down in the link in the description to follow me on Twitter, where I post all of the official DC news as well as my own things as well. Check the link down in the description. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Bye.